Welcome back to the special edition of Hannity, Islamists Among Us. Now, the president and his Democratic cohorts continue to insist that ISIS is not Islamic, and their refusal to identify the enemy is putting you, the American people, at risk. Take a look at this.
The terrorists do not speak for over 1 billion Muslims who reject their hateful ideology. They no more represent Islam than any madman who kills innocents in the name of God represents Christianity or Judaism. All of us have a responsibility to refute the notion that groups like ISIL somehow represent Islam, because that is a falsehood that embraces the terrorist narrative.
We are at war with violent extremism. We are at war with people who use their religion for purposes of power and oppression. And yes, we are at war with those people, but I don't want us to be painting with too broad a brush.
And just last week, after a cop in Philadelphia was shot multiple times by a man who claimed that the act was being done in the name of Islam, well, the mayor of Philadelphia said this.
In no way, shape, or form does anyone in this room believe that Islam or the teaching of Islam has anything to do with what you've seen on that screen. That is abhorrent. It's terrible, and it does not represent the religion in any way, shape, or form, or any of its teachings. This is a criminal with a stolen gun who tried to kill one of our officers. Has nothing to do with being a Muslim or following the Islamic faith.
All right, here with reaction from the Islamic House of Wisdom, Imam Muhammad Ali Alahi, former NYPD Detective Bo Dietl, and Fox News contributor Ebony Williams. Good to see you all. Imam, let me start with you. The truth is, this is done in the name of Islam. This is a literal interpretation of the Quran. It is the call to jihad. It is the infidels. It is holy war. It is take neither Christians nor Jews for your friends. It's about the literal interpretation of the Quran. It's about the perversion of Islam, correct? That's just a fact.
It is about extremism and terrorism, and that is evil, that's insanity, that's crime.
But in the name of Allah, in the name of Islam, in the name of the Quran.
If you want to understand why we have ISIS and why we have this San Bernardo's tragedy, two things. Number one, look at $70 billion spent by the Saudis to teach the Takfiri text, and also 13 years of crying of the families of 9/11, asking for this classification of those 28 pages, which was classified by President Bush, and unfortunately President Obama.
They are doing these acts in the name of Allah, in the name of the Quran. They are doing it in the name of Islam. They believe that this is what the Quran instructs them to do, and the Hadith.
It is not in the name of Allah and the name of Islam. It is in the name of the Saudi.
Then why do they say Allahu Akbar?
In the name of the Saudi money. If we had this classified, the White House, both President Bush and now
why do they say Allahu
Akbar
at whenever there's an act of terror?
This is extremism. They may
That's
say
my point. I'm saying it's the perversion. It is their literal interpretation of the Quran. You won't admit what is a simple, basic truth.
Let me finish. I'm a Muslim, and I led the prayer and pledge of allegiance in our state senate this morning. And I believe that my faith is about rationality, is about peace, about compassion.
We need more people like this, Iman. Okay. Fact, I was there after 9/11 when the buildings came down. That was done in the name of Allah as they were going to the buildings.
Allahu Akbar.
30, let me finish there, whatever your name is. Hold on. What was I going to say? You're making my mind go defunct.
You were there after 9/11.
I was after 9/11. It was in the name of Allah when they hit the buildings. 3,000 Americans. Look, if we had Christians that were going around, radical Christians, and they were killing people, I would call them radical Christians. We have radical Islam now. There's no fact that it's not exactly it.
That's a great analogy.
And what's happening around the world is they're getting stronger. ISIS is the same as Al-Qaeda, but now it's an organized army state. It's the same difference. That's radical Islam.
With the most land and the most money. Hang on, we've got other guests, Imam. Let me go to Ebony here. But the reality is this is being done in the name of Islam. I'm not saying that all Muslims are radicals, Ebony. I am saying that they are using as the source of their inspiration the Quran and Allah and etc. That's what they're citing as they commit these acts.
Yes,
That's
Sean,
why
and I actually don't understand, one second, sir, I don't understand why this is so confusing for so many people, including what Hillary Clinton said in the soundbite, Sean. You know, no one is painting with a broad brush, and it's actually saying that Americans are not capable of distinguishing between law-abiding, traditional Muslims in this country, which there are thousands and millions of, and radical extreme terrorism that pose a very real and present threat to Americans in this country. And I believe that with our intelligence and with our greater humanity, we can make that distinction, Sean. That's what I believe.
By the way, and most Americans do. Most Americans understand.
And I wish, one more statement, I wish that people would stop putting their heads in the sand on one end, and on the other side, fear-mongering, because those extremes get us nowhere safer and closer to a solution.
So you got to identify the enemy.
And like I said, Islamophobia.
Through this
Imam, give me a little respect.
Why?
Islamophobia,
Why we are friend of Saudi Arabia?
whenever you...
Imam, one at a time.
Why they are our friend?
Hey, Mom, I'll get back to you.
And the political correctness, whenever you make a statement about radical Islam, that's not politically correct. That's nonsense.
Correct.
These are terrorists, and we have to treat them like terrorists.
We have to call it out for what it is.
Call it like
Imam, exactly. Let me go back to you one more time. Why, as Ebony pointed out, Americans make the distinction. They don't look at all Muslims as radical Islamists. They recognize, but they do understand that your religion is being hijacked by radicals who, in the name of your religion, are committing acts of terror and acts of violence and killing innocent men, women, and children. And their numbers are growing, and their land mass is growing, and their finances is growing.
I would say that if the White House had released those 28 pages, we did not have ISIS. We didn't have in this tragedy. Those families, they deserve big money, compensation, millions of dollars.
Won't answer the question.
The money should,
it's very
instead
simple.
of bomb and going and hitting the hospitals in Yemen,
it's very
that
simple.
money
It's very
should
simple.
be given
we
to
need,
the families of 9/11. They are criminals. They are using our religion.
The
we are
moderate
angry at
Muslims
them.
to step up, Sean.
We got to end it right there. Ebony, thank you. Mom, thank you. Bo, always good to see you.